second page of the special triangles review. Alright, for number 9, it shows that we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So the way I would start out is just writing the pattern once again. So we know the side opposite of the 30 is x, side opposite of the 90 is 2x, and side opposite of the 60 is x squared root of 3. Now you notice that the x squared root of 3 is a whole number and it doesn't have the square root. So that automatically thinks that you end up using one of those tricks that we discussed in the past few problems on the first side of the sheet. So we know that x squared root of 3 is equal to 18. We know that that's going to end up being one of the bigger sides. So the trick in this case, we would end up wanting to divide this number by 3 and add the square root of 3 to give us what x is equal to. So then for this case, that means then x is 6 square root of 3. Now knowing what x is equal to, we can then find out what 2x is equal to just by multiplying the front number by 2. So then that should give us this side here should be 12 square root of 3. So that's one of the more difficult problems that you will see with the special triangles, because you have to end up using one of the tricks because it doesn't follow the pattern. Alright, for number 10, once again, we have another 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I would just continually just to write out the pattern, so that way then you can get used to it and see like if the pattern fits or if you have to use one of the tricks. Alright, in this case, we know what x is equal to, so we can easily find out what 2x is equal to just because we just multiply by 2. So in this case, that side there is going to be 10 square root of 3. Now, like in problem 9 where we ended up dividing by 3 and adding the square root of 3 to it to find the smaller side, we know the smaller side, so that end up to get the bigger side, we would want to do the opposite, which means we were going to multiply this number by 3 and get rid of the square root. So that means this side here has to be 15. These are going to be the two types of problems that are going to give you the most trouble because you have to remember these tricks because they don't follow the pattern. Ones like numbers 11 and 12, they're more of the straightforward problems because they just follow the pattern. So with ones like these, for like number 11, once again, just write out the pattern. Since we know that 2x is equal to 22, to find x, all we need to do is just divide this number by 2, and we have what x is equal to. So 22 divided by 2 should give us 11. So now we know x is equal to 11 for this triangle. Since now we know what x is equal to, we can find x squared root of 3 by just plugging in 11 where you see that x there. So then this side here becomes 11 square root of 3. And then for number 12, we are given x as 10. So doubling that will give us 20 for this side. And since we know x is equal to 10, we know that means this side is 10 square root of 3. So problems like 11 and 12 are going to be the easier ones to do as long as you just remember the pattern. You'll be able to not really worry about doing too much math in this case and using any of the tricks. Numbers 13 through 16 are going to be the 45, 45, 90 triangles. So let's look at number 13 here. The pattern for the 45, 45, 90 is the sides opposite of the 45 are x, and then the side opposite of the 90 is x squared root of 2. So in this case, knowing now that x is equal to 20, we can easily put 20 down here and know that that is the side for that triangle. For that side, the length for that side. Now, knowing x is 20, put 20 in front of the square root of 2, and then we have the hypotenuse side. These are going to be one of the more easier ones because you don't have to use a trick. You're just using the straightforward pattern. Number 14, we're end up using the trick because we're given what x squared root of 2 is equal to if we write out the pattern. So remember how we did earlier, whenever you have x squared root of 2, the trick is to divide that number by 2 and add the square root onto it. So that means then the x is going to have to be 9 square root of 2. And that's going to then be for both sides. For ones like number 15, it's going to be the opposite way. We're given what x is equal to. We want to find what x square root of 2 is. So since in the previous one we divided by 2 and added the square root, this case we want to take away that square root and then multiply by 2 to get what x square root of 2 is. So note that this side here is 5 square root of 2 because it's x. So then if we take 5 multiplied by 2 and get rid of the square root, we get 10, and then that's going to be the length of the smaller side. And then number 16 is like number 13 where you're following the pattern. But in this time, you're given what x square root of 2 is. So now knowing what x square root of 2 is, you know x is just going to be the number that's in front of that square root of 2. So that means then that x is going to be 17, and then we have both those other sides. So now you've finished with review. Once again, if you want to go back and look at the problems from the book that we did in class to help review, you can do that, and then you will have your makeup special triangles test on Friday, March 13th.